let you go radio.
And if you have a question later, you can ask it at the end, okay?
Okay.
So you think about what you want to ask him, because I know you had stuff you wanted to ask him. So how's it going? You feeling all right?
Great.
You hanging in there?
A little sick.
Okay.
We won't be touching you.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Well, what can I say, man? Oh, you were fantastic again in this. And I wanted to ask you about how hard or easy was it to slip right back into Shaggy mode?
It was actually kind of easy. Doing it the first time, I worked out like the bones of the character, so it was easy to kind of jump back into those bones.
So did you have to prepare in any way? Because this is a very physical role, much more than the first time.
It's tough. I mean, it's a tough... Anytime you run a marathon like Scooby-Doo, you realize that it's going to hurt from beginning to end. And, you know, I work with coaches 2 weeks before every movie I do, so I went and worked with them, and we went back and watched Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and kind of try to steal from those guys to incorporate them as best we could in the movie, like steal from the greats and, you know, just learn from them.
I hope you didn't hurt yourself or anything. There was some pretty physical stuff.
Yeah, it actually was the most banged up I've ever been on a movie. I'd fall, I'd bump, I'd bonk. You know, like when you play in the playground and you get beat up.
He's talking to you.
He's like, what? I don't know. What?
He's never done this before.
I know. I made him sit in. Ladies and gentlemen, I made him sit in.
Do you feel better sitting over there? Are you okay?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
You're still thinking of a question? He's going to ask one question. You're still thinking of it?
Still thinking?
Okay. So have it on the back burner.
All right, good stuff. What I thought was really cool about this film, too, is that you could really see that the four of you felt comfortable with each other.
Right.
Was that an issue? Because the first one, obviously, you're feeling it all out. You're not sure how it's going to work out.
Right.
But this one, it really did come across. How was it getting back with everybody?
It's great. I mean, one of the things in Hollywood is, like, you never get to work with people again. Kathleen Turner told me in my first movie, doing a movie is like having a marriage with a built-in divorce. You're in together every single day, and then all of a sudden you never see each other again. And so it's nice to come back and have the chance to work again. I mean, I've known Freddie now like 2 years. I mean, I've worked with him 2 solid years of my life. I've known him for like 10 years. So therefore, I know Sarah really well. And Linda and I are like best friends. So, I mean, it's great to have those people to come back to. And then on top of it, Seth and Alicia, who are like total friends of ours, all of us. So that makes the whole experience that much better.
Did anything surprise you about anybody's performance that kind of, jumped out at you from the first one to the second one?
Yeah, I certainly think that the cameos with Peter Boyle, Alicia, and Seth make a total difference in the movie. The relationship between Linda and Seth's characters is great. It's so charming, so cute. They're a blast to watch. And, they just take the film and make it that much better. The whole thing of the movie is that the first movie was okay. It did well worldwide. I mean, obviously it did great box office. But we all felt like the first movie was good, but there's a lot of problems with it. We wanted to make a better movie. And that's the whole goal of the second movie, is to make a better movie. And I think, to a man, I think we all feel like we've accomplished that.
Yeah, I mean, you really embody Shaggy so well. It's kind of scary, actually, how good you are at this. And I was wondering, were you always thinking in your mind, I don't want to mimic the cartoon. I kind of want to make him my own. How did you embody him? How do you go about that?
It's tough. I mean, making him a three-dimensional character is the tough part. To make him real, that's the difficult thing, and making that translation into two-dimension, a living, breathing character. And I don't know, you just kind of, I had a great script, James Gunn, and, and just use your imagination.
Well, why do you think people just love Shaggy and Scooby so much?
Because they're the quintessential kids. They do what you would do in that situation. Fred is strong, and Daphne's strong, and Velma's smart, and together they are, they'll solve the mystery. But Shaggy and Scooby do exactly what any kid would do. If you saw a monster, what would you do? You'd run.
Yeah.
Right, see? I mean, that's what they do. And I think that's why America and the world loves those guys.
Let's talk a little bit about Neil Fanning, the guy who does the voice.
Right.
And,
I couldn't do it without Neil.
Yeah, tell me about him, how much help he has been.
He is, for me, irreplaceable. I couldn't do it without him. I mean, it's so funny how he came to be on. It's a happenstance that he's even on the film, the first one. And the second one, he's irreplaceable. Because every day I work with him before the take, and during the take, he's my voice. He's in my earpiece, or he's there, or he's somewhere around the corner. And he's just a third eye. He's just another eye. There's me and there's Raja, and Raja's got tons of things going on, and I'm lost in my thing. And he's a third eye to watch watch the performance. He's great. I couldn't do it without him.
And how much easier was it for you this time, knowing now what you were kind of expected to do with the Scooby character and what it ended up with? Was it easier to do it, or was it?
Well, it's funny because it's a little harder because you know you're going to get upstaged. As an actor, I very rarely in my life get upstaged while I'm performing. But every time I turn around in the first one, Scooby's doing something 10 times funnier than I am. So I knew it was going to happen. I knew he'd just be funnier. But that takes a little time to get used to.
Yeah, but in terms of just knowing where to kind of place yourself and things like that, was that hard?
It's easier because you've done it once, but nothing about that is easy. Acting is all about the energy between two people. And to have the lead of the movie not only be a dog and a dog that talks, but not there, is a real challenge. I mean, it makes it it's the hardest job I've ever done.
How about maintaining the voice? I remember the first time you told me it was kind of hard to do the voice. Was it easy coming back to you?
Yeah, it was. That was just the old bones slipping right in. It was actually that part was no problem.
Did you find yourself you're a dad? You going to your daughter and talking like Shaggy?
No. I don't do that. I would never do that to her. She'd be like, Dad, you're so weird. And she's 2. She didn't have the capacity to figure that out. But
give her a few years when she starts watching this.
We're going to cross that path, I'm sure.
Okay, now obviously, I know you were a big fan of the show. Having these monsters come alive, what was that like?
Awesome. It was great. We did, the great thing is that on a lot of these days, he's real in the movie. He's an actual real guy. That's a costume. And, he's real in a costume, but you want to know a secret? The funny thing is you see these little green things? He couldn't see out that, so he was blind. And that guy in his mask, he couldn't see out of that, so he was blind. And then, the Black Knight Ghost? Remember the Black Knight Ghost? Oh. Did you see it the other night with your mom?
Yeah.
He was blind. He couldn't see either. So the 3 ghosts that were real were really blind. They'd line them up and they'd chase after us, and they'd be go left, go right, go left, and they'd all get confused and bang into each other.
Do you want to ask him who his favorite ghost is?
Who is your favorite ghost?
Who's my favorite ghost? I like Captain Cutler's ghost. Because he was there, and he was really cool. When you saw him in real life, he was cool. I was like Minor 49er, the big fat guy who blew the fart and the fire. Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
That was funny, huh?
Yeah.
You could tell people home it was funny, huh?
Do you like that part the best?
Do you like that part?
It's pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah. The physical stuff, back to that a little bit, because there's some scenes, like we were saying, you were really banged around. What was the hardest one? I mean, there's the sliding down and the buffet table. I mean, what was really most challenging for you? Probably,
God, that's a good question. Probably the flying stuff, all the stuff in the museum. Because anytime you see someone flying in a movie, anytime they're in pain. Just know that the pick points that they put you on, you balance your whole weight on this little girdle that has 2 points that keeps your weight. And generally speaking, that's a painful day. And I flew for, I think, 3 days. And getting dragged down that table, it hurts. Not, you don't want to complain too much. I'm fine, obviously. If that's the worst that happens to me, I'm okay. But it's a painful day, so I think that's probably it.
We know this is going to be a huge hit. Scooby 3, you'd be up for it?
I think so. If everyone in Canada goes and sees it, I think we'll be okay.
Everybody in Canada is going to go see it, don't you think so?
Do you think?
Absolutely. You can tell all your friends?
What?
You can tell all your friends to see it?
Okay.
Okay, for sure.
Okay.
Matthew, thank you so much.
You're
It was
very welcome.
very great. And what do you say?
Bye.
Thank you. Do you want to? Is it okay if I take a little picture?
Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
just go stand right beside.